bar really low. But I know her better than that, and that was a pretty hard act to follow. But first, I want to thank you all for being here today to celebrate another wonderful season for HWSD. I remember my first HWSD banquet, and I actually cannot believe that 3 entire years have passed since then. When I look back and reflect on my time at Harvard, this team will always be one of the first things that comes to mind. The swimming and diving team has been an integral part of my identity at this school, especially being the only athlete in my room, known only to some as our athlete roommate, and being completely fine with that. I don't remember a single section where I didn't introduce myself as a student athlete and take pride in the fact that I was not only participating in academics at this school with everyone else, but also athletics with you all. Even this weekend, I was visiting my future medical school. I took the red-eye home this morning, so I probably look pretty ragged, but I continued to identify myself as a diver, and then quickly corrected saying, well, I did dive until about 3 weeks ago. But a funny thing that I learned this weekend was that there's actually a field called dive medicine, which I didn't know, and it's for accidents with scuba diving. But I could continue diving in medicine, which is pretty cool. Diving may have been an interesting sport choice for me. As a matter of fact, my club coach used to tell me that to be a great diver, you had to have an X Games mentality. And in all seriousness, I've always been a little bit of a wimp. And some of my teammates might say a really big wimp. Lulu, actually, there was a funny quote you said one time where you were like, I'm actually used to snacking, I have no problem with it, and like once you do it a couple times, it doesn't matter, and I'm like terrified of snacking to this day, so it's kind of funny. But there are other things that attract me to the sport of diving. The grace, the perfectionism, and definitely the sparkly bathing suits. It's always been one of the greatest mental challenges in my day, which is actually quite refreshing when your other mental activities involve genetics or neural circuitry. But what has kept me in through all these years is undoubtedly people that I've met. Truly, my teammates are the reason I'm here today, the reason I have found success in this aspect of my life, and what I remember most about my competitive athletic career. As I look around this room, I see the faces of my family, my home away from home. It's really a wonderful thing when a freshman and a senior can feel like sisters at a university as cutthroat and competitive as ours. I remember being a freshman and wondering why the seniors tolerated us, or even invited us to hang out with them, and now I know it's because each and every woman on this team has unique things to offer, in friendship, in leadership, and in their own lessons in their growth as women. I look to some of you for a laugh, many of you for a good session in venting, and even more of you for a fabulous and fun time. This team has come together in ways that I've been envisioning ever since I began to think about college swimming and diving, and the ways in which these two sports can interact when seemingly the only thing we have in common is H2O. I may have had an idealist perspective in mind, but each year on this team I believe we've achieved unity and a common respect for each other in our training and our contributions to the greater whole. I'm so grateful for my 26 swimming teammates who have taught me so much about dedication, about wanting something so badly you'll fight until there's vomit in the gutter, which I've seen, and also waking up before 6 a.m. for practice, which divers really don't do in high school, but we do now in solidarity. I'm truly humbled to have served as your captain this year, and I hope that I've given you back some of what each and every one of you has given me. There's a couple of people that I specifically need to thank. First and foremost are my parents who now live in California, so they aren't here today. But my boss came from Partners in Health, and so it's wonderful to have her here. They couldn't be here for my banquet, but my parents are so much a part of who I am today, and I thank them. I write them letters pretty often from college just to say how fortunate I am to be a part of our family and also to be who I am. So, to staff for continuing to pursue a vision I've tried my best to foster throughout my Harvard career of a completely integrated swimming and diving team, where diving is never a halftime show and where athletes of two different sports can respect each other's abilities and hard work. To Keith, who came back, for recruiting me, believing in my abilities as a diver, and for the daily grind. I will always remember your one-armed hugs, my own insistence on telling you which members of the men's team caught my eye that week, the side of the road roses that you bought for a van full of champions on our way back to our last session at IVs last year, and for entrusting me with purchasing your wife's Christmas gift my sophomore year. I completely meddled into that one, but she did love those boots, didn't she? I've been fortunate throughout my diving career to have fantastic role models. As you may know, diving is a pretty small world, and Leslie Ray is someone who I met really early on in my diving career in mid-Atlantic diving world, and someone who encouraged me to look at Harvard early on. So I actually owe a lot of the reason I'm here today to her. Likewise, I don't know what my first 2 years on the team would have been like without the guidance of Jenny Reese, who I'm very lucky to get to live in the same city as next year. Many of my male training partners who are downstairs right now I'd like to thank as well. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to train with men's divers every day. And each fall I find incredible inspiration in the freshest faces on the team. So I need to thank Alex, Skylar, Cassie, Amanda, Emily, and Lulu for making practices joyous and for keeping the fighting feeling alive. I can't wait to see what you guys do in the years to come. This speech would be incomplete without thanking Tegan Learman, my training partner in crime, for the past 3.5 years. It's been quite a journey since I met you on our recruiting trip, and I couldn't have asked for a more pure-hearted and fun teammate to spend this time with. You've learned to follow your passions in college, and I consider myself lucky that diving remained one of those for these 4 years. To conclude, I'm going to draw on a quote from Andrea Bocelli, renowned Italian singer-songwriter, which I actually found in an airline magazine on our flight to Miami for training trip this year. He said, "I've always considered my life not a glass half full, but a full glass. I would like to make this my own by restating it as, I consider my life not a glass half full, but a glass overflowing. Thank you, HWSD, for filling my glass with love, with memories I will cherish, and with lessons I will take with me and reflect on for many years to come. It has been a true honor to be a part of this team for 4 years. Thank you."